Now, let's take it from the top.
This is the Lowdown Sports Show.
Give me the lowdown.
With Drew.
I just heard your dad might already hate you, and I was like,
Yeah.
what, brother? Oh, man.
And BJ.
Yeah, he could be part of the mascot's entourage and be throwing T-shirts into the crowd.
And it all starts right now.
All right, welcome into another episode of the Lowdown Sports Show. I'm your host, Drew.
I'm BJ.
And we're here to get the lowdown on all things basketball. Welcome in, guys. Merry Christmas. Merry pre-Christmas. I mean, Christmas on Monday, but we record on Thursday for you ahead of Christmas time. Good to be back here. It feels like it's been forever, but
it has been, yeah.
Back in the mix, and we got some things to talk about. Well, something that's old news, but we got to chat about it a little anyway, and that's the Draymond Green situation. Also delving into the Christmas Day games coming up on Monday, and some legendary players and coaches and teams considered for the Hall of Fame. Chatting all about that. In the Commissioner's Cup, they decided in the WNBA they want to make some changes to it. Let's talk about some of those changes here in this one. Of course, BJ's Best, What's on Drew's Mind, and With It or Quit It, all on tap here for today. And before we get into things, we want to give shouts out to our partners, TeePublic, Fanatics, and SeatGeek. SeatGeek is a ticket app that takes the confusion out of buying tickets. Use code THELOWDOWN in all caps to take $20 off your first order. And BJ, this show is also presented by STATHEAD. And we've got a stat of the episode over there.
We do, Drew. It's for some reason my screen is going slow, so we may have to come back to that, but I will have it before the end of the episode.
All right, we'll revisit the stat of the episode, and we'll go ahead and tackle on into things here. Draymond Green. Let's start off with Mr. Draymond Green here in this one. Draymond, it's happened last week at this point. I mean, it's really mainly all been hashed out last week, just trying to figure out, and I haven't really gotten to talk about it, just what is going on, and and how did it get to the point that we're at here today? How did it get this far? So many things allowed, all those kicks in the nuts that we were always talking about for years, and that's
not the season of Nutcracker that you want, Drew.
Yeah, and the stomp on Sabonis it's not even been a year since that's happened. So, I mean, it's just a whole bunch of things. It's got to be, internal. We don't know if, personal beef with all these players that he's been, hitting the headlock with Gobert. I mean, there's no hey, we know he's got issues with Sabonis. Hey, we know him and Gobert have a history of, getting into it in the playoffs or anything like that. It's not that. It's none of those things that you can point to like you probably could with, veterans back in the day. But, he's just kind of gone off the deep end here, and it just kind of it doesn't make a whole lot of sense. We're used to him getting texts and being ejected and things like that, but not this. It just seems like the frequency is just too much at this point. The technical fouls, I mean, we have stars get that all the time, but I don't know. Draymond Green, his stuff has just kind of been a little bit more than it needs to be over time, and the indefinite suspension, it's a good decision on the way to go with that. I mean, just kind of, here we're suspending you, and we'll figure out exactly how long you'll be suspended for along the way. It's good to not go ahead and just put a number on it instead, so there's not arguing about, hey, why was it only 8 games? Why is it only 2 games? What is it? What is that all about?
Yeah.
Not putting a number on it makes it a little bit easier for the NBA to navigate and the Warriors try and figure things out. There's been all his incidents have been brought up ever since, the recent antics have been brought up. Even Curry was speaking on the Jordan Poole situation as well, and how, when it got out, it made things harder for, things to be handled better, under closed doors or behind closed doors, I should say. So it's just something Draymond's got to fix. I mean, what do you think about the situation, BJ? I mean, it's been a lot that he's been getting into, and just slap on the wrist mostly up until now. And like, how big is this slap on the wrist? Is it actually going to leave a mark this time, or I mean, what are we doing here?
Well, the thing is, we back in the playoffs, if I'm not mistaken, Drew, when he got suspended and missed a couple games in the Kings series, we had a clip. I didn't find it. I know we've got it somewhere, of all the times that he has done something, in terms of like, either stupid or foolish or just kind of gone and done it without even thinking about the consequences of whether it's a kick or a punch or shove or something that's trying to get get an opponent out of the way, or something that really doesn't have, as much of a place in the basketball court as much as maybe like the WWE cage or something. I think that this is, this was only a matter of time. I'm honestly surprised that it didn't happen sooner, but it's one of those things that after a certain amount of time and, all the complaints and the clamoring of, oh, Draymond's a dirty player. How does he keep getting away with it? Well, I guess the NBA's finally heard enough, and they're not going to let him get away with it for too much longer if he even is able to come back. This is something, Drew, and I don't think this is going to be the case, but you talk about Draymond being on the tail end of his career. This is potentially something that could be what ends his career prematurely. I don't think this we've, seen Draymond on the court for the last time. I don't think this is how it's going to come to an end, but you really do have to consider that possibility with him, continuing to do these things. And after a certain amount of time, it's like a parent getting frustrated with a child and saying, all right, I'm not warning you anymore. Go to your room. You're not playing basketball anymore.
And I think the NBA started to, condition us to be used to it, because they weren't doing a whole lot of anything about it.
Mm-hmm.
Light suspensions and not really taking it seriously.
Yeah.
And, things just got worse. It went to stomps on chests, rib cages, headlocks, and, just straight up, swing around hooks to the face.
Yeah. And this one's the worst of all, it feels like.
Yeah. It's literally just been building. It's been a crescendo. Mm-hmm. It's just gotten, gotten worse. The antics have gotten worse.
You give him an inch and he'll take a mile. How much is he going to be allowed to get by with?
Even though I don't want to, think of, getting hit in the nuts lightly, but I mean, it's just been like more apparent injuries.
Mm-hmm.
Some of those, you've been, had some people on shows, I mean, including us, even trying to, justify some of the things that were going on. Like, was it a stomp? His foot was kind of coming down, looked like Sabonis had his leg or whatever, things like that. I could never justify the kicks in the nuts. Those were just like, I don't know. But that's what I'm saying about getting conditioned to it. We started to try and find excuses for him. Or some people, sometimes it ends up happening like that. But, it's got to just stop. I mean, with the hitting in the face, I mean, that should be a straight up brawl on the floor. I mean, Nurkic, I'm kind of surprised, but I mean, sell the foul pretty good though, but it worked. But I mean, just I don't know. It's hard to find words for what Draymond's doing. It just doesn't make sense because but we don't know what's going on internally. If there's something internally, if it's like that, but whatever's going on, he's got to take care of it. If it's just something on his mind that's having him easily frustrated in the recent year, where these antics have just picked up more than usual. It seems like everything else was kind of spread out over a while, and maybe why it didn't get put under the microscope so much, because it wasn't as much in a small window as it is now. In a year, you've got these three things being the stomp, the headlock, and the back fist. And I don't even know how long the Jordan Poole thing was now. It might be 2 years.
I was gonna say, I felt like that was the beginning, like preseason last year, but
right, but it's like in the area of 1 or 2 years. So I mean, all that in the last couple is a lot to be having to deal with as an organization.
And we talk about how smart of a basketball player Draymond Green is, and maybe there is something in his mind that he thinks he can get that extra little edge that they're not going to do. But you, at some point, as smart as you are, Draymond, you've got to know that this is just stupid, and can't go on any longer.
And hey, NBA fantasy people, I need y'all to do something with that suspension label y'all have on Draymond in the fantasy. I had him in fantasy on one of my teams. I need to be able to put him on that IR or something. Can that be allowed? I want to drop him.
Well,
When he comes back, it means he's going to be useful.
I was to say, I don't know. I don't think you can put him on a reserve or anything for suspension.
No, you can't. I'm just going to have to drop him. I got to deal with it. I got to drop him. It's going to have to happen. My teams are going to suffer, though. I'll start losing. But anyway, enough about Draymond. Let's talk about these Christmas Day games, BJ. We love some Christmas Day NBA slate of games, even though we're being slightly interrupted by some NFL stuff throughout the day. 2 stinker games during the day, and then one actual nice one in prime time late. But we'll be watching Mavs until we go to sleep. Not football.
I was going to say that's the thing is that, you know, I talked with Coach Tripp about it last week, and it just feels weird. Last year, I mean, Christmas on a Sunday, fine. Christmas on a Monday this year, understandable that there's some like a game or, you know, maybe 2 at most, but 3, and there's a couple clunkers in there, like you said. I don't know.
Right.
Feels wrong.
I don't want no football. It's just fun.
NBA go ahead.
Make it that week where you don't play anyone in that football.
I was to say NBA should schedule a game or 2 on Thanksgiving next year as payback.
Hey, they should have just done it this year when they knew that was going to happen. But
yeah, that's true.
I don't know. It's super weird. But anyway, Christmas Day schedule is starting off early at 11 a.m. with Milwaukee on the road at New York, playing at the Madison Square Garden on ESPN. See, and one thing about this, BJ, you don't always get Christmas Day games where the stars are healthy. Mm-hmm. And pretty much most teams got healthy squads here. Bucks healthy versus Knicks. And then the next game following going to be 1:30 p.m. Warriors at Nuggets. I mean, the exception of Draymond being out. But everybody else going to be playing, I believe. I think Jamal Murray's back. Again, because he had a little stinger once he came back, but I think he's back again. Mm-hmm. We'll check the injury report and have that up. Also, following that, going to be a 4 o'clock tip between Boston and LA.
Yeah.
Boston on the road at the Lakers. That is going to be a good one. LeBron has been missing the last bit of games, and the Lakers been on a little skid here after winning the in-season tournament, but I think part of his missing games lately is to rest up so that he can play on Christmas. Next, you got a 7 p.m. start. Philadelphia 76ers at the Miami Heat. That'll also be good. All these are great games for the day, BJ. Just get your popcorn, kick your feet up, watch some NBA games, maybe sip a little wine if you want to. Open the presents with some family and hang around and watch these NBA games. That'll be a good one too. And it finishes off with Mavericks on the road at Suns at 9:30 on ESPN.
Yeah, and the Mavericks have had some guys miss a few, couple games. That's the one that is really unfortunate. Coming into this week.
Yeah, and I'm hoping we get some of those guys back to be able to put out some type of unit out here against Phoenix. They've been missing for a little bit now. Maybe they'll be healthy enough to play on Christmas. Otherwise, it's a pretty healthy slate. The first 4 games don't have to worry about injuries. Only the last game does, with the Mavericks missing some players lately. And I don't believe that Beal is back yet. And I don't know if he'll be back for the Christmas game. So that is something to look out for. But mostly healthy throughout the day. Yeah. So these are going to be good games, BJ. Aside from the Mavericks, which we got to sit some bias out here, which game are you most excited for on Christmas Day? Let me actually ask multiple questions in one. Okay. Which game are you most excited for during the day? What do you think will be the best game during the day? And which one do you think you'll actually watch the whole game?
Okay. Well, it's possible that all three of these questions have the same answer, believe
Ooh,
it or not.
it is possible.
It is possible. I think the game I'm most looking forward to is that marquee afternoon tilt. I mean, anytime you have a historic NBA rivalry front and center on
Mhm.
Christmas Day, I mean, that's to me, I think that's going to be the best game. Boston and LA is the one that I'm thinking is going to be the best. That's the one I'm most excited to see outside of the Mavericks, of course, who've had a couple of years now in a row that they've been playing on Christmas. And I think that's more likely the one that I'd be able to watch pretty much almost all of if I'm being honest. I might be able to catch the earlier game between Denver and the Golden State Warriors, but I might not watch all of that. I might just have to wait and watch Boston and LA because I work that morning, and come that afternoon once I get home, we'll probably go and unwrap presents from each other and everything like that. And by the time that's over, we get ready for, dinner and everything that's perfect for the start of Boston, LA. So it is, I know you probably didn't mean for it to be all three answer the same game, but that's the case. I'll probably watch most, if not all, of Philly and Miami, if I'm being honest as well, before I check out. I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to make it most of through about the first half or three quarters at most of Dallas and Phoenix because of my work schedule. I know you are more than familiar with that,
Oh,
unfortunately,
yeah.
but I'll have a recording. We'll catch up and watch it the next day once I get home and relax.
Yeah, man. I'm actually a little bit different from you. I think the Milwaukee and Knicks game will be the closest game of all
Okay.
the games on the slate on that one. I also think that's the one I'm going to sit through and watch the entire one, mainly because I think it's going to be the closest. But also, the early slate's easy one to tap on in. You kind of all bright and early in the morning, or at least I will be over here anyway. Just kick off the day watching some hoops. I'll be right there locked into
Yeah.
the first game, probably eating some lunch and watching. And, I think that'll be a tight one. And but the most excited for, but I don't know how it's going to go. It could be one of those lopsided ones in the final quarter or something like that. Be good for three quarters and be a clunker in the fourth. Lakers and Celtics, like you were talking about.
Hmm.
I hope it's a thriller that goes the distance, nice four quarters, and be good to the end and be one of those Christmas Day games that we remember. And while we're talking about that, BJ, what is a Christmas Day game that you remember the most, and which I guess I should say, which one is your favorite Christmas Day game, or one that whichever one you want to pick, whether you remember the most, it's your favorite. If it's both in the same, um, I'll give mine right here because I've been
Okay.
thinking about it already, and it's 2016's NBA Christmas matchup between the NBA champion Cavaliers and the Golden State Warriors.
Yeah, that was a good one.
Mhm.
I was thinking back to last year and the Mavericks making that comeback against the Lakers. We had that really good matchup between LA and Dallas, and it lived up to the hype. It was Lakers were leading for a good majority of the game, and then Dallas just kind of hit a barrage of threes in the late third, early fourth to come from behind and win. I mean, it seems like it's been you know a lot of years that LeBron has been on Christmas, and why not? I
Yeah,
absolutely want
yeah.
to be marketing one of your top players, if not the one of the best players of all time on in a marquee slate of games. And so I'm just thinking back to I think that we got a Miami Dallas rematch on Christmas right after the finals of 2011, and I think LeBron may have had a good showing in that game. Let's see, I'm trying to remember because I feel like you're right. I feel like that Cleveland Golden State matchup is probably one of, if not the best Christmas basketball games that we've ever seen, just because
Mhm.
of everything that they've been matched up the past 2 years. Cleveland coming back from 3-1 deficit in historic fashion, and then that
Mhm.
was a great tight contested basketball game. So
Oh,
I
yeah.
don't think that there's much that could top that. But for me, what I remember um, is just because it's probably more recent is Dallas making that big comeback last year and getting a win after not having Luka the previous year and losing to Utah on Christmas. And feel like that could be a possibility this year. I hope I'm wrong, but
Yeah.
anytime you're at home in front of the home fans and you win, that tends to stick in the mind a little bit longer.
And BJ, in these Christmas games, 6 of the last 8 players that have been named MVP in the NBA will be in action on Christmas Day. LeBron, who's a 4-time MVP.
Yeah.
KD, who won in 2014. Curry, 15 and 16. Embiid last year.
Yeah.
Jokic. 21-22. Antetokounmpo, 19 and 20.
It's crazy. That is a lot of star power. By the way, I don't want to go too far, and seeing as that this does tie in, I have my stat of the episode. It was frozen for the longest time. I figured we could revisit it now. Since we're talking about Christmas Day and we're talking about LeBron James specifically, I wondered if you knew the most points and the fewest points that LeBron has put up in Christmas Day games. What's the most he's put up and what's the least he's put up? If you can remember.
Oh my gosh. I definitely am not going to get the least right because I'll probably overthink it.
Okay.
But we'll go for it. The least he's probably scored, let's go with 16. The most, let's go with 44.
You're really close with the fewest points.
Dang.
Not quite there with the most points. So the fewest points he put up on a Christmas Day game was his first Christmas with the Lakers back in 2018. He totaled just 17 points in the Lakers win against the Warriors.
One off.
Yeah, I know. I was going to say he also added 13 rebounds and had 5 assists in that contest for the Lakers in 2018. The most points he's put up was also with the Lakers. It was 2 years ago in the Lakers lost to the Nets. LeBron had 39, the most that he's ever put up in a Christmas Day game in 2021 as the Lakers fell to the Nets 122-115.
You see, I had a feeling he hadn't scored 40 on Christmas, but I wanted to be like, maybe he has. I just don't remember. But
not quite. Yeah, but that's something that he could, hope to try to accomplish this year. It would be a
I hope you don't have to.
I was to say the problem is like you look, he scored 39 in 2021. They lost. He scored 38 last year. They lost. He put up 37 in 2011, but they actually did win against Dallas. Two of his 3 highest outputs on Christmas Day have been against Dallas, believe it or not.
Help LeBron, help him. And some more Christmas Day factoids. Past 4 teams to win the NBA title are playing on Christmas Day. Lakers in 2020, Bucks in 21, Warriors 22, and Nuggets last year or earlier this year.
Yeah, that was last season, but
yeah.
I get what you're saying.
I'm expecting some fun on Christmas, but like I said, I think Bucks and Knicks is going to be electric. That's going to be what's going to start off our day. Hopefully Curry makes 8 threes against the Nuggets, and we have a crazy game in that one. Maybe Clay catches fire too, so it makes it a little more exciting. So he's not just sad over there. But why Curry hit 8? Why not hit 2? But yeah, we got a good slate. Got a good slate for Christmas Day. That is
absolutely
for sure. And we got a good bit of candidates that are probably going to make their way into the Hall of Fame. The finalist list will come out later in February. Got some notables here. We're going to split this conversation up a little bit, talk a little bit about the fellas and the teams that'll be eligible. And then we'll talk about the women's side later when we get to the WNBA conversation side of things. But Naismith Basketball Hall of Fame announcing eligible candidates for the class of 2024. A lot of high-profile and first-time nominees, including the 2008 U.S. Olympic men's basketball team, the Redeemed team, Vince Carter, Bill Laimbeer, Coach Rick Barnes, Mike Fratello. Got a whole bunch more notable names here. We got coaches and players. Player Chauncey Billups, John, is that Bayline? Yeah.
Yeah.
Man, oh God, Joey Crawford, the referee. You know who that is. Anybody who's
Oh,
watching
yeah.
NBA games in the past 20 years knows who Joey Crawford is.
Yep.
Sean Marion, former Dallas Maverick and NBA champion.
Mm-hmm. Jim Loranga, coach of Miami Hurricanes and several others.
Yeah, going through some notable names that I'm popping through here.
Mm-hmm.
Doug Collins on the contributor side.
Dick Motta, Jim Phelan, Bo
Trey
Ryan.
West on the contributor side. David Blatt on the international side. Good old David Blatt.
Mike Gaminsky, Lou Henson.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of good names on here.
A lot of great names.
Hurley Neal. I mean, it looks like there's some Globetrotters that are on here.
And what is we've hashed out about Hall of Fame classes before. It's about, what is it, like 12 to 14 or so that get inducted in.
There's quite a few. That once we get the finalists narrowed down in February or March, when they and maybe even April actually. So I think February is when we get the finalists, and then the actual classes announced during the Final Four in April. So it's possible that you'll see a lot of these people, both men and women, that are nominees that will make it in. It's impossible at this point to really kind of gauge who's going to make it to the next round. Anybody that they name as like a headliner or high profile, you usually are pretty, safe to say that they're going to be, a finalist and possibly inducted. Like the Redeem team, there's no way they're not going to get in.
Right.
Vince Carter, Rick Barnes, people like them.
I was going to go over some that I thought were locks, to be inducted. Definitely that 08 Redeem team, Vince Carter and, Rick Barnes. I think maybe a Bill Lambier would. I don't know about a lock, but he'd be on the edge of being one.
I think he's all right. I think he'll get in.
And Chauncey Billups should be a good, finals MVP type guys, and champions should be pretty near auto when it comes to
I think they usually try to get a referee or two in, so I imagine Joey Crawford will
make it for sure. Michael Cooper, the player, maybe ought to be a lock at this point. Pretty stellar guy in his playing days. Any other that might be locks on here on the men's side?
Man, I'd like Sean Marion to be a lock.
I think he'd probably get in with his class. Just be on the lower end of things as far as the superstars. This won't be a hefty class with some of the better players. Like we've saw that KG class. We've seen the D Wade and Dirk class. This one won't be stout. Its best, aside swipe away the 08 Olympic team, its best player is going to be probably Vince Carter.
Yeah. I'm going to give you a name I really hope makes it in this year, because I think it would be posthumous now, but he deserves to get in. That's Raleigh Massimino. You talk about how good the Big East was in the 80s, and a big reason, not just because of the success of Patrick Ewing under John Thompson and those Georgetown teams, but the whole conference was great. Raleigh Massimino made it as the underdog, and they won the 85 national championship with Villanova over that Georgetown team as an 8 seed. So I think he should absolutely be in. I thought he was actually already in, believe it or not.
Not sure I'm familiar with who that is.
He was the head coach of the Villanova Wildcats in that 85 run, and throughout most of the 80s and 90s. But he should absolutely be in.
We'll see if he makes it in February to the finalist squad. Yeah. The last round of things right there before they select their final 12 to 14 to get inducted. And we'll talk about the women's side of things here in a bit. But now, ladies and gentlemen, it is time for BJ's Best.
Well, thank you, Drew. All right. Well, ladies and gents, a couple days away from Christmas Day. We were talking about Christmas Day games in the NBA earlier, and I found what is claimed to be the most underrated Christmas songs that you needed to have been listening to instead this holiday season. Because if you're like me, I mean, nothing wrong with it, but after about 3 or 4 times hearing All I Want for Christmas Is You, I need to look for new radio because I'm about ready to punch mine. I'm gonna. This is a list on from Pace Magazine. I'm gonna see if I even recognize any of these. I was reading through earlier and I did not recognize any of these, but it's possible that that you do and you actually do enjoy these. So I'll start.
Maybe.
I'll start at the top. It goes in alphabetical order by artist name. So the first one is Audrey Assad's Bells. It says all of her tracks on her album Peace could be on this list, but Bells is simply unmissable. Stunning rearrangement of the popular Christmas carol based on Henry Wadsworth Longfellow's 1863 poem, I Heard the Bells on Christmas Day. So
I almost wish when we do lists like these with songs that we play it. So
yeah.
like, oh, it's okay.
I've
heard a lot of different songs lately doing this morning show, so I might have heard that by now.
Okay, I was gonna say it sounds like it's a smaller song. I'm not familiar with her, but could be just because I'm an old fuddy-duddy and I listen to a lot of the older stuff than more of the new songs. But it also is underrated, and so that might be part of it. Next one up is by a band called the Bahamas, which I am familiar with, but I don't think I've heard their song Christmas Must Be Tonight. This was part of the soundtrack for the 1988 film Scrooge with Bill Murray. It says the song was an outtake from a previous album that was included on their final studio record Islands and tells of Christ's birth from the perspective of an onlooking shepherd. So it says version by Canadian musician Bahamas honors the original iteration while also altering it, combining reverberating guitar riffs with Rejoining, which is Bahamas, trademark creaky voice to convey a folksy, festive warmth. Next up on the list is Fleet Foxes with White Winter Hymnal. This is a Seattle-based indie band, Fleet Foxes. Basically, one short verse repeated 3 times over roughly 2 minutes. That's only festive in the vaguest of ways. Well, this one might be a skip for me, if I'm being honest. Yet there's something about the song that makes it not only reflective but addictive. Maybe it's the sound that is oddly reminiscent of the Beach Boys, so it feels nostalgic, even though the song was released just 15 years ago. Maybe. I will not hesitate to give it a listen at least and see. Maybe I'll report back for next week what I listened to them and I didn't like them or whatever.
Give us the review.
I will have to do that. Next up, Fruit Bats with Baby in the Hay. Sometimes the only thing you want and need from a Christmas song is a retelling of the familiar story behind it all, and that's exactly what the indie rock band Fruit Bats delivers to listeners in Baby in the Hay. So it says this is a single tucked away on a holiday compilation album called You Wish. Okay. So it says it's a enrapturing harmonies accented by a country western tinge that adds newness to nostalgia. Hush Kids, Jingle Your Bells. The Nashville-based alt-country duo Hush Kids say they chose their band's name because they felt the word hush described the softness and tranquility of most of their songs. If true, Jingle Your Bells is something of a departure, up-tempo and ebullient, a flirtatious telling of 2 lovers losing themselves in mutual affection at home during Christmas.
Huh. How many did you say there were of these?
It says 20. I'm not going to go through them all.
Oh, I was about to say, what number are you on? I got lost.
It doesn't go by number. It just goes by by last, or well, actually, it goes alphabetical by first name of the artist. I'll skip down a few. Phoebe Bridgers, I know the name, but I've not heard her. The song is If We Make It Through December. Songs like Merle Haggard's If We Make It Through December was released in 1973. Remind us that not every Christmas song is merry and bright, but Phoebe Bridgers transforms this track into something even more somber, deconstructing Haggard's tune into a melancholic tune more aligned with the song's lyrics. While this track won't make listeners rock around the Christmas tree, its explorations of hard luck, financial difficulty, and gnawing loneliness offer solace to those for whom the holidays are hard or even painful or altogether avoided. I know there's probably some out there that might be having that kind of feeling this year. I can tell you that. So that might be one to get yourself in the right headspace and put that one on the radio. British musician Reese Lewis, I should say, with Christmas Eve, said that song tells the story of someone who had a little bit too much fun on Christmas Eve and woke up on the big day with a hangover, eyes as red as Rudolph's nose. Wow. My goodness.
That's great.
Says soulful voice of Lewis complements the multi-instrumental presentation of saxophone, trumpet, and piano. It'll make you stand up from your easy chair and recreate the very scenario the song subtly warns against. Well, maybe I might have
no trombone. Boo.
I was to say no. It doesn't say it, but it should. It says smooth saxophone, punchy trumpet, and playful piano. All right, just a couple more here. We've got the Opeers, maybe. Toronto-based folk trio made a song called River. They wanted to avoid making a commercial Christmas album and instead sought to produce a mix of covers and originals, some delivered a cappella and others accompanied by light instrumentation that examine the many ways that the holidays can bring rest, joy, and cheer while also inspiring feelings of loss, grief, and nostalgia. The whole album is worth a listen. That's from Stay Warm. This is the album. But they cover Joni Mitchell's River because it's a perfect, gentle acoustic accompaniment that it allows the enrapturing harmonies to shine as bright as a tree topper. And the last one I'm going to say is from La Bamba. It's Senor Santa. In 1955, songwriter Pat Ballard rewrote the lyrics to his famous song Mr. Sandman for Christmas use as Mr. Santa. And more than half a century later, Mexican-American singer-songwriter Luz Elena Mendoza and her folk pop band La Bamba reimagined it once more as Senor Santa. I think I might have actually heard this one, but it's been a while. It says it combines classical guitar riffs with accordion, ukulele, and even whistling. The song transforms into something starkly unique without sacrificing its original festive spirit. So there's just a few. The album or the article is from Paste Magazine. So if you're looking for some new holiday tunes to pop on the old, people still listen to boom boxes. I know that jukebox would be too outdated of a term, but if you're looking for a new song to add to the Spotify playlist, how about that? And for the Christmas season, check out some of those, or check out Paste Magazine for the whole entire list and see if there's one that you find that you really like. And that is BJ's Best, Drew.
There you go, BJ. Man, we got to get something in there next time where if we're talking about songs, we got to be able to play the song so I can hear it, be like, I've heard that one for the first time. Hey, I have no idea what that one is.
I was just saying, there's quite a few that I don't know, or I don't, they're not familiar to me. So
there's tons that I had no clue existed until I was putting them in rotation.
Yeah, absolutely worth an investment into seeing if any of them are worth old playing of the eardrums every year or not.
You know what else is worth the investment, BJ?
What's that?
Some merch from our TeePublic store and our partners at TeePublic, man. Oh, man, I tell you what, it's time to get geared up. But even though there's no sale this week, I'm sorry for the disappointing news, you can still get the gift of free shipping, free on orders $80 or more. That's right, free U.S. shipping on orders $80 or more. BJ, I've got bad news. I broke my Lowdown mug recently.
Oh, no.
I accidentally tapped the handle on the corner of the kitchen sink and it cracked and mug broken. So I have got to get into our stores to make a purchase, just like you guys need to. Guys, add it to that cart. Visit the link in our description to get started loading up that cart with some merch from the Lowdown. I'm getting that Lowdown mug. Got to re-up on my mug. Get get yours as well. If you want that coffee to get you awake in the morning, it's chilly around here nowadays. It's time to get warmed up with a coffee with a Lowdown mug logo sticker slapped right on the outside of it. Go ahead and shop today. Link in the description.
Yeah, it may not be too cold everywhere, but if you got early mornings like Drew and I do, that coffee cup, it does just hits quite right the first of the morning. Hey, Drew, I've got some news for you. If you're looking for something, maybe you can't get it in time for Christmas, but it's the end of the year. Maybe you want to get something new and re-gift it, or if you want to have the ability to get yourself some fresh new merch as we get ready for the NFL playoffs and so many more things to come in 2024. Fanatics has got you covered. They've got a clearance sale. You can get up to 70% off right now. Plus, you can free shipping in the U.S. on orders over $24 by using the promo code 24SHIP, SHIP. So again, 70% off. There's a lot of stuff on there. I saw a lot of that Rangers World Series merch. I was surprised to find it in the clearance sale. They want to make sure that sells out. And so you can get some really good deals if you were looking for some new gear to rep as we get ready for new baseball season. NFL jerseys are on sale. You can find yourself some of that Texas Longhorns college football playoff merchandise is on sale, as well as any other team that is in a big-time bowl game this year. Plus, if you are Fanatics MVP, you're going to get exclusive deals that are only available to you because you wanted to be the MVP. And so you get exclusive weekly deals and so much more available by signing up to become a Fanatics MVP. Again, up to 70% off right now, plus free U.S. shipping on orders over $24 at Fanatics. Use the promo code 24SHIP, Fanatics.com. That's exclusive, licensed everything. And, Drew, as we find out every week when it's you and I here on the show together, my friend, what is on Drew's mind this week?
Well, BJ, what's on Drew's mind this week? It's a Christmassy theme, of course. You see the hat on?
Yeah.
Christmas time on Monday. Let's get in the spirit. You've talked about the songs.
Mm-hmm.
I want to talk about the top 10 Christmas characters. How about that?
Okay.
Top 10 Christmas characters out there. This is going to be coming from ScreenRant.com. This is actually a big top 25 list, but we're not running through 25. So we're going through this top 10 here. There's some I recognize on here, some I do not because I haven't seen the movie, but you'll probably recognize some people on this list, BJ. Some Christmas characters.
Okay.
Familiar faces. Mr. Poppy coming in at the 10th spot from Nativity. It's a movie from 2009. Have you seen this, BJ?
I have not.
I have not either.
It's one I need to see, I'm supposing.
Played by a fellow named Mark Wooten.
Okay.
I'm familiar with the face if he's the guy on the left in this picture, but if he's the guy on the right, I have no idea who that is. But that is the 10th spot. In the 9th spot, Clark from Christmas Vacation.
Yep. Clark
1989.
Definitely familiar with him. And watched that, I think, maybe a few weeks back.
Yeah.
One of my favorites around this time of year.
Yeah, good old Clark Griswold. He's in the 9th
wonder
spot.
if his cousin is higher up on this list.
Ooh, guess we'll just have to scroll and see.
I will have to find out.
Yes, indeed. In the 8th spot, BJ, John McClane from Die Hard.
That's perfect. I'm wearing
1988.
I'm wearing my shirt. Die Hard is a Christmas movie.
Right on time.
That was perfect timing.
Yes, indeed. Played by Bruce Willis. John McClane from Die Hard.
One of the better movies, especially the only real action movie that you can watch around Christmas.
What do you like better, Christmas Vacation or Die Hard?
In terms of just to watch this year or around this time of year, Christmas Vacation, I can watch either one any time of year, but you can watch Die Hard any other time of year and be fine.
Anyway,
stop it.
I haven't seen it
Stop
yet.
it.
So it's okay.
Stop it.
In the 7th spot, Luther Crank from Christmas with the Cranks.
Yes,
in 2004, played by Tim Allen. I don't think I've seen this. So I haven't seen any of these so far, actually.
Ooh.
So, but I'm
Man,
familiar with Christmas with the Cranks. I've heard it before, but I have not seen it. So,
yeah,
oh, shame on me. Yes, I know.
yeah. Well.
No.
That's for not seeing any of them so far. These
Yeah,
are
I know.
three of the better films so far.
Okay.
That you could
Yeah,
watch.
but I have seen this one, number 6, Gizmo from Gremlins. 1984 is when
Yeah,
this bad boy came out, played by
that's funny.
Howie Mandel. Oh yeah, Gizmo.
Oh
Gremlins is
man.
great. I love Gremlins. Good movie. Good movie. And Gizmo, definitely a memorable character in the Christmas lore.
Yeah.
In the 5 spot, top 5 now. This I think might be pretty low, to be honest. Who do you think's right here, BJ?
Kevin McAllister.
Nope.
Okay.
All
Who
right.
is it?
It's the Grinch.
Oh,
How the Grinch Stole Christmas in 2000.
yeah. I was to say
Played by Jim Carrey.
that is a pretty low.
I think
Pretty low
5 is
spot.
low, right?
Yeah.
Every time you think Christmas and you're referring to anybody being mean, you call them a what? A Grinch.
A Grinch.
Yeah,
Yeah.
if you read a story about somebody from Florida stealing presents from a local church, yeah, they're
More
being a
often
Grinch
than
this
not,
holiday season.
they're dressed up like the Grinch too.
Yes.
Knowing Florida.
Yes. Yes, exactly. So Grinch in the 5 spot, low here. Next one, I haven't seen this one, but it's Karen. Who loves Karen's? Goodness. Karen from Love Actually from 2003,
I was just
played
saying.
by
I mean,
Emma Thompson.
yeah, that's one that it's you either love it or you're not really have many strong feelings on it at
Not really
all.
feeling it. Okay.
Yeah.
In the 3 spot, a very familiar face to many. BJ, a familiar name.
Mm-hmm.
Who do you think's here? He might be low to some, which I guess gave it away to he. Might be low to some at this spot in number 3.
Santa Claus.
No, it is Buddy the Elf from Elf. It came out in 2003, played by Will Ferrell.
Yeah.
Some people would have Elf and Buddy the Elf at number 1. No.
Well, but when you've got Santa Claus, it's got to be number 1, right?
I don't know. Is he a Christmas character, technically?
I mean, yeah, with as many iterations that they've had over the years.
I don't even know if there's a Santa Claus from any movie on this list, but it's a character. It would have to be a specific Santa Claus, maybe a Tim Allen version of Santa Claus. Yeah, a specific Santa Claus. We'll see we'll see if they're on the top 2 here, BJ.
Yeah, I was just saying. Santa Claus Coming to Town. I don't know. We'll find out.
The 2 spot. George Bailey from It's a Wonderful Life that came out in 1947.
Yeah, that's an iconic one. That one is a tough watch. It's because it feels like for most of the movie, it's so down and depressing. But then, just a beautiful turn of events there at the end.
So you've seen this?
I think I've seen, if not all the way through, I've seen most of it.
Okay, I have not seen this.
Yeah, it's. They usually show it either on Christmas Eve or Christmas Day on one of the networks. So,
all right, and the 1 spot. Who do you think's holding it down here? Is it Santa or is it somebody else?
Well, considering it feels like it should be Santa, it's probably going to be somebody else. Let's find out.
All right. Do you want to have a guess at it? Somebody else? A legendary figure.
Is it Kevin McAllister?
Yes, it is Kevin McAllister from Home Alone, holding down the number 1 spot, played by Macaulay Culkin.
Man, that's
who recently got a Hollywood star.
Yeah, and that was well deserved. Yeah. No, I mean that's not a bad list. There's some ones that you could say, all right, let's shuffle them around just a little bit. And I know, I mean, some people might, say like maybe Gremlins should be a little bit lower. I don't know. It's
let me see if I can pop up some notables from outside the
top
10 here. Here's one, BJ, that'll spark your Santa Claus thing here. In the 12th spot, there's Scott Calvin from the Santa Claus.
Tim Allen,
1994 version played by Tim Allen. And Jack Skellington, The Nightmare Before Christmas, in the 14th spot here.
Now, people might say that's really low.
Right. Oh, yeah. Willie from Bad Santa.
Yeah.
They might think that is low. Let's see if there's. Hold on. I got some. It's buffering here. No, wait. No, is that it? No, I had 25. Why isn't it showing me? Well, those are the notable ones you get since it wants to act up on me. Oh, wait. It came back. There's a Santa one on here, BJ. Santa from Violent Night in 2022.
Okay, I didn't see that one. But
he's in the 23 spot.
Okay.
And I think that's all the notable ones on here that I'm familiar with. Yeah.
All right. Yeah, not a terrible list.
Yeah, top 10 Christmas characters there for you for what's on Drew's mind.
All right, Drew, and let's shift gears. We'll get back into the discussion of things. We're going back to the Basketball Hall of Fame nominees, several high-profile first-time nominees, Drew. We talked about some of the more notable names on the men's side of things, but looking at the women's side of things, and what's the name that immediately stands out to you? It's got to be Cheryl Ford, right?
Simone Augustus.
Simone
Augustus from the Minnesota Lynx. I mean, just one of the most dynamic scorers the league has ever seen. I mean, when you talk about, the records that was, when Enrique came in the league and she was breaking some, there were two names that you heard with the majority of those records that she was breaking. Cynthia Cooper, Simone Augustus. She is that type of bucket getter. She's a finals MVP as well, a multi-time champion with the Lynx, a part of that dynasty that won 4. Just a perennial player, a bucket, just a natural bucket. I'm for real. And she's going to get in with this squad for sure. First time, coming up. Is it? Let me double check. Is it her first time? Yes, people with the star on this list. It's a first-time nominee, so it is her first time. She'll be a first ballot Hall of Famer. She's going to get in here this first time. Cheryl Ford as well, BJ, is the name you mentioned. She will get in as well, I think, in this first time in. Let's see Penny Taylor was another player that was on this this list to be inducted, a champion with the Phoenix Mercury as well, a dynamic player in her days as well. I think she's got a really good chance to get in. I don't know that I'm not seeing her in the women's nominees section, so I'm trying to find. So maybe she's in international, probably. Trying to see if it's her first time. It is her first time. Yeah, Penny Taylor's first time through as well. She's got a really good chance to be a first ballot as well. If she doesn't make it, got a chance again. But this is one of those classes, BJ, that is not just beefy, like top heavy with just star-studded spots. It's just going to be locked down, like pure locks in this one. There's maybe a few. Yeah,
this is like you're adding depth to your Hall of Fame bench. Is what this Hall of Fame class is going to feel like. And a name that I didn't even see the first time we were going through, Andrei Kirilenko. I know this. Kirilenko. He's a first-time nominee. On the international. He slipped past my eyes the first time.
Kirilenko. What does his resume look like? I'm interested now. I didn't think it would. I don't think it's too lengthy. I remember Kirilenko in his days. He's a tall fella, man. It's funny that you mentioned Andrei Kirilenko because sometime last year, I swear I thought I, saw somebody that looked just like Andrei Kirilenko. And I told somebody that too. And I was like, man, I swear I saw somebody look just like Andrei Kirilenko.
His resume is almost 800. Go for it.
I was just going to give these quick ones. Just a one-time All-Star. An all-rookie, led the league in blocks 1 year. He's 3-time all-defense.
I was to say almost 800 games played, average of about 12 points per game, topped out with a career best 16.5 points per game. His third year of 03-04. Looking at what else he averaged, I don't know. Maybe 3-point percentage. He was a 31% shooter in his career.
I don't see him making this.
Yeah, I don't know.
That's crazy that his name was on
Utah Jazz Hall of Fame probably, but
like if they got like a ring of honor, they could put his name, retire his jersey or something. I don't even know if they would do that. He wasn't like perennial star over there either, just a 3-time. He was more defense than he was a star, just a one-time
Yeah.
All-Star out there, and it was early in his career.
Yeah.
But that's interesting. He's on this in the considerations here. But yeah, I mean the number of players on here. I think with the women's side, there's always going to be some W players mixed into the class here. So Simone is definitely going to make it. Alongside probably a Cheryl Ford on the women's side of things. And Penny Taylor probably has a really good chance to make it in, depending on what the coaches' side of things looks like. Because I know they're going to have a team in there, and it's going to be the Redeem team.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean those players are going to get in. I mean, they had phenomenal careers, and just want to make sure before and BJ, is there anybody on this list that you think is going to be, right on the edge of not making it? Like that's a notable name.
On the edge of not making it.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of names on here that are noteworthy that are probably not going to make it in. But in terms of like right on the edge, that's more notable. I mean, depending on, which side of things you're looking at, I could see like Bo Ryan being right on the edge as a coach, Jim Phelan right on the edge as a coach. We talked about Raleigh, Massimino, Sean Marion potentially could be right there on the edge, Jim Loranga, because
Sean Marion.
Because there's some that are still active and either coaching or still not playing, obviously, but there are some that have been nominated before. Like this isn't Joey Crawford's first time being nominated.
This isn't Sean's first either.
No.
So, man, you got to think, man, you got to fear for Sean Marion if he doesn't get in with this class. I don't think he gets in if he doesn't make it with this one.
Probably not.
And
that would be unfortunate, but I mean, I could also see it. I mean, if Andre Kirilenko isn't going to make it out, I think Marion probably has a better case, but
it's not Chauncey Billups' first time either. So I think he's another one of those players you got to look out for. If he doesn't make it here, does he make it ever?
Yeah,
because I think this is probably one of the weaker classes if you had to point to one, and you got to squeeze a Finals MVP in with this one. If he's one of the only players
Finals
on your
MVP,
NBA side with a Finals MVP.
Yeah, I'm looking.
Probably the only one because Vince doesn't have anything.
Yeah,
Sean doesn't have it. Bill doesn't have it. I mean,
it's right now or never, right?
Yeah, I think Chauncey's got to be locked into this one. If he doesn't make this one, there's no way he makes another one. I don't think.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there's always a chance. You look at the veteran nominees, and it's possible that if a player wasn't, making it in this go around, they'd be able to make it further on down the road. But that's always one of those things that you never want to take the chance of.
And that's like you got to worry about a Michael Cooper too. I mean, on this squad, I mean, he's got the accolades that surpass or that equate up to a Chauncey Billups. He's got multiple championships. He's a multi-time Defensive Player of the Year and a multi-time All-Star. I mean, he's in that mix. So he's got the resume stacked up with these guys. Vince Carter's got the longevity and the number of All-Star appearances and things like that. I mean, he ain't got championships or MVP. So, I mean, there are guys, that could, some people could consider ahead of him just because of, having those extra accolades that Vince doesn't have or be equal with him as far as putting, making it into this, Hall of Fame. But somebody could say, Vince is making it, but there's no way Chauncey doesn't make it. That's a champion and a Finals MVP and a multi-time All-Star as well.
But there's no other candidate on this list, Drew, that had as great of a slam dunk contest as Vince Carter did.
Okay. Legendary dunks and stuff, and the Olympic dunk over the one guy as well. That is super dope. But I mean,
yeah, and that's all part of it too. Is that I'm not just what the list of accomplishments is, but can you tell the story of basketball without some of these guys? Sure, yeah, absolutely, but in order to put this kind of era into context, I mean, it feels wrong not to have Vince Carter, what he did and how popular he was in the Hall of Fame. Chauncey Billups hitting that like 3/4 court buzzer beater the year that they went on to win the title, and his run in the playoffs that year. It feels like he should be in. There's a lot of guys that you can make those kind of arguments for, and that's the thing at the end of the day is that it is a tough one to say that who's more deserving and who isn't on this list, because there's a case for each and every one of these people to be inducted and to be deserving of it at the end of the day.
Yeah. And Cheryl Ford's case, 4-time All-Star, 3-time champ, 07 All-Star MVP. So I mean,
yeah,
like I said, she's another one of those that is she's got a chance. It's her first nod and no chance to get in here. So she's got enough accolades on her back to put her over in, but then again, she might get overlooked for some coaches that hadn't got put in that have tried a time or two, and try again next year. But if they're trying to put a couple of players in, she might be the second one to tag along with Simone to get put into the Hall. But definitely got some good women here in the class, and like I said, Penny Taylor in this mix too. Give you Penny's numbers real quick. Just talking about what her days were like. Obviously, you mentioned that she was a champion, 3-time champion, as a matter of fact, and a 3-time All-Star to go along with it. And man,
so of the three, you'd say it's like if you had to say they're who has the best chance and who is probably not, or who is not the least
ranking them?
Yeah, I was gonna say if there was, if they only went with one or two, it would be more likely that it's Simone and Cheryl Ford, and then Penny Taylor would be third. Or do you think that it would be a different order? Because Simone has got to be one, right? And then is it Ford or is it Penny Taylor? Is the question. And obviously they won't look
probably
at it this
Penny,
way,
so probably Simone, Penny, and Cheryl in that order. Chances to get in.
And with Penny being international, that actually does seem to help. They might be able to get all three in this class because Penny Taylor's in a different
bracket.
Different group of nominees. So, and they always usually try to go with a handful from each of the different groups.
Yep.
So
she's got a chance. She has a chance to do it for sure. But a 3-time champ, 3-time All-Star, got a good opportunity to get up in there. Yeah. Oh yeah. But Simone for sure will make it. That is for sure. But yeah, there's some guys that have their chance. A lot, men and women that'll get in up in here. It'll be a nice little class, but I think it'll be one of the weaker ones that we've seen in a while. We'll have to see what we can compare it to once the finalists and who's going to make it drop, and see where it ranks among the classes that have been inducted over the years.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes, indeed. And BJ, we still got some WNBA things to talk about. And first things first, just talking about this Commissioner's Cup. We've already had, the minor chats about, me kind of ragging on the Commissioner's Cup, saying that the NBA learned from their mistakes and made the in-season tournament good. And I guess W is now learning from what the NBA is doing, having to make some changes to make some things more interesting. Like, this is what we were missing. So let's take a look at some of these things, BJ. I've had the email for a minute. Haven't really dove into it as much. Been busy running around doing basketball games. So I'm looking at this. I'm going to be looking at this in some real time here. Yeah. I'm going to be going off the story from ESPN here. Shout out to Michael Vogel here from ESPN on the story. They want to try and increase some fan engagement with this, BJ, obviously, of course, because we've had discussions before about the lack of interest for playing up on these Commissioner Cups games, and the NBA players, they do the opposite with their in-season games. They get it hyped, and they want to move to a shorter, more compact format for its in-season Commissioner Cup for 2024. Kathy Engelbert said this past Monday. And The event is moving to a 5-game format down from 10 games, where
Mhm.
each team plays the other teams in its conference. Once all Cup games will be played in a 2-week period from June 1st through the 13th. So just shortly, after the season begins, maybe like a week or
Yeah.
so,
Mhm.
week or two, and you're getting into Cup games. It's coming down to about where the NBA was at. They had about 4 in-season tournament games. Most of the teams that were in the in-season little final 8 there or whatever had had the little 4-0 records to get
Yeah.
themselves there and lock in the spots. W trying to trim it down as well. It'll be followed by the Cup final on June 25th between the top 2 teams in the standings, hosted by the team with the best record in Cup play. Engelbert had told ESPN that if the league doesn't add a 14th team for the 2025 season, WNBA is prepared to make the Cup format work with 13 teams.
Okay.
The league will continue to have 12 teams in 2024, but an expansion franchise in the San Francisco Bay Area will be added in 2025. I
Mhm.
think the W will look super goofy if they can't get a 14th team in. If you can only
Yeah.
add the one, I think it'll be super goofy if they can't do that. The league hasn't ruled out the possibility of the 14th franchise, but Engelbert said it would need to be nailed down soon to be ready by then. Oh yeah, I think you gotta lock in, another franchise to be ready in the next few months. By the time the free agency
Yeah.
period begins in like February,
February. Yeah.
you need to have another place locked in.
Mhm.
If not, they're really going to kind of be letting things down because they'll have to reformat a lot of different things with 13 teams. Like, are we still
Yeah.
having 8 teams make the playoffs?
Mhm.
Or do we want 9? And then if we do 9, how do we do it?
You do
How
eight
do you make
nine
that work?
playing game or something like that. Like
Yeah, you're going to have a play-in, but like the 9 versus the 8 or something to see who actually makes the last spot.
you could do
It would be
if
stupid.
yeah, I would say you could do like top 6 automatically qualify, and then like 7 through 10, kind of like how the play-in tournament works in the NBA. But I don't think that's necessarily what they want to do.
And all the cup games except the final will be part of the team's 40-game schedule
Hmm.
as well. Kathy said that she felt that the league felt that the format spread out over a much longer period didn't engage players and fans as much as the compacted format should. The
Yeah,
fact that 2024 is an Olympic year, the league will break from July 18th to the 14th for the Paris Summer Games, also added incentive to change the cup format.
yeah. So she said the newly designed concentrated structure for this in-season tournament adds an increased sense of urgency and excitement as we place a particular spotlight on Eastern and Western Conference Commissioners Cup play in a 2-week window near the tip-off of our regular season. I mean, that's exactly the case where you needed something, especially early on, to add the excitement and increase the urgency. Is like if it's these 2 weeks and then it's not for the rest of the season. Like it's if you want to put more emphasis, this is the way to do it.
You know what I think they should do? They should do something along the lines of what the NBA did, since we're all picking off each other now. NBA had a little in-season tournament courts. Maybe give like a Commissioner's Cup patch for every game. Put it on all the jerseys when you're playing a cup game.
I like that.
Give out something at every arena when you're playing a cup game or something. Like give out T-shirts. Commissioner's Cup game #1. I don't know. Make something. Don't do the courts because that you're directly copying from the NBA at that point. But
Hmm.
and I didn't want to go as far as to say make whole jerseys for it, but maybe a patch on there with the logo. But maybe that's something they did for the Cup Finals. I can't remember if the Commissioner's Cup logo patch was on jerseys or not. But if not, just put that on jerseys for every time you're playing a game, so players know. Like even like just for example, like photographers taking pictures of those games. Like, oh, I took pictures of it. If this was a Commissioner's Cup game, because otherwise the photos it looks like a normal game. How would you know that's a Commissioner's Cup game?
Yeah,
That way, in the photo, oh, this is one of the 4 Commissioner Cup games. Okay,
yeah,
so I think that's something they could explore. Put that logo on the, right up here on the jersey, and maybe put one on the shorts as well,
hmm
and do it like that.
It seems like it would be pretty easy to do.
Yeah, but you got to add something to make it different, just like the NBA did. You can't just be like,
Yeah,
yeah, we're just playing 5 games instead of 10, it's shorter, so fans will
And
engage more. It doesn't work like that. You got to
no, and it's
you got to give something to catch our interest.
yeah.
The NBA had a bright, shiny court, all the time. Like, oh, what does this mean? Oh, what's that? That's nice. That's new. That means something, right? What does it mean?
Yeah.
We'll figure it out later. And things all ended up working.
And they also did a great job marketing it, as we talked
Yes.
about earlier this season.
So, players can't be saying, we don't play up for Cup Finals anymore. We're like, oh yeah, it's Commissioner's Cup Day, Commissioner's Cup game day. That's what we're all about here today. We got to get a win in the Commissioner's Cup. We know how important it is. We want to be there to get the prize at the end of the at the end of the light when we play these 5 games and be playing for the money in Vegas or blah 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 blah.
But the question is, Drew, is anybody going to ask the players like you did that question, or are we going to just have to kind of
where I'm located when the season is?
That's true.
But I'm also just a few hours away from Minnesota, so Lynx, look out! I could be over there asking Cheryl, are your players going to play up? Anyway, but I hope it's something they continue to explore to add things to. I hope this is just the start of what they intend to add to the Commissioner's Cup scenario. But you got to add something else like that to make it feel different.
Yeah.
Have like I said about the t-shirts, like maybe I don't know. For example, Dallas Wings could have like whiteout shirts with Commissioner's Cup logos on a Commissioner's Cup game day or something. It's on everybody's seat. Everybody puts it on in there, but like, and that's what makes things feel different because it gives it. Because that's what they do for playoff games. You put the T-shirt on the seat. Everybody's like at a Miami Heat playoff game. White out. White hot theme or whatever they do.
That adds to the element. That adds to the atmosphere.
It makes the atmosphere different as well. Mm-hmm. And you got to have the same type of change within the team as well. Like with what you put on display on the video board and things like that. Add some extra hype to those game days and stuff. Like make it for real. But we'll see. They got plenty of time to add some more stuff, and they also need to add another team so that we don't have 13 teams for 2025 and be weird like that.
Yeah, I was to say, I mean, what's about the least amount of time they can have to get everything ready for the 2025 season? Like about a year, right? They need to have it announced by the start of the season next year that there's going to be another team.
It's got to be before that. I think that you got to have the announcement. Like I said, by the time free agency is opening, you got to be announcing a new team. And that'll probably implore some players to sign 1-year deals so they can be available for the expansion team or whatever, possibly be over there. But I think middle of February, All-Star break of the NBA time is that's probably the latest you need to be waiting.
Okay.
So they got about 2 months to lock in another team. 2-3 months max, man. If you got to push it through February, sure, but no, not deep into March, not into mid-March even. We're not in the madness with you trying to figure out who our 14th team is. We don't need to be doing that.
Fair.
Anyway, those are the changes for the Commissioner's Cup, ladies and gentlemen. Hopefully they'll add some more things to make it interesting, but those are the changes for now. At least they did something. And what we're going to do now is slide on over to a little game we like to call With It or Quit It. I'm back at the helm, ladies and gentlemen. I got 5 questions for BJ. They're pretty good, and I saw BJ was close to getting tripped with the 5 for 5 on the With It.
I know. And I thought he was.
He jinxed himself by talking about it, and Tripp went away from what he should have done, and he should have said With It. I know he wanted to, but it just deterred him when he were talking about going for the 5. I could sense it. But I'm not going to say that here today. But
it is hallowed ground, and maybe he didn't feel like he was honored, or he didn't have the right shoes on to be inducted into the 5 for 5 club or whatnot.
It was the pressure. He couldn't do it. You put it all on him. He said, "Nope, I don't want to be a part of that." And you got to be a part of this, though, BJ. 5 questions on tap for Mr. BJ.
I'm ready, Drew.
And here we go. Question number 1, Mr. BJ.
Mm-hmm.
You'd like to have yourself a white Christmas. With it or quit it?
All right. I have been through it before.
I'm talking about now.
It's fine. No, not this year. Quit it. No. Especially since I'm working, it would be a whole lot easier if I had a nice maybe some cooler weather and sunny skies just make my drive pleasant to go in and back and forth. So not this year, but in a perfect world, if I'm not working, yeah, I'll be fine. If I didn't have anywhere to go, absolutely White Christmas.
Right. Okay. I guess I should have made that a little bit more specific.
Ah, well.
But it's okay. He went on the quit it side. That's how we're starting. Let's see how it goes the rest of the way. Question number 2 for Mr. BJ. You, BJ, this year in 2023, have watched less than 5 Christmas movies. With it or quit it? And that doesn't mean the same movie twice. That doesn't count. I mean, 5.
Yeah, no. Let's see. 5 total. It feels like it because I just have not had a whole lot of time to do much of anything especially the last 2 weeks. But if you go back to probably just after Thanksgiving, I think I've gotten over 5. So I'm again have to say quit it. Maybe just a smidge. It's close, but if the number had been 10, it would have absolutely been with it.
Gotcha. Okay. Back-to-back quits. Okay. Number 3.
3.
With it or quit it. Mr. BJ, ice cream. You like yourself some ice cream? That's not the question, but
I was just going to say, have you seen me, Drew? There's not a whole lot that I don't like.
Ice cream is better in the winter time than any of the other seasons. With it or quit it?
I feel like I've had this one or some variation of it before. And as much as I like ice cream on a warm summer day, just because it feels like it's the perfect, perfect cure to a warm day to cool yourself down. It is one of those things that, if it's already cold out, it's not really doing a whole lot to change your taste buds. So I will say with it. I'll say with it this time.
Darn it. I wasn't planning these to try to get you, but darn it.
No.
It cuts it off right in the middle. We can't even get the suspense. Like, oh, one more question. But I agree. I like ice cream.
I was thinking at first when you said it, I was thinking quit it, but then I thought about it a little bit more. It's like, no, that's not a quit it.
I like me some ice cream in the wintertime.
Especially with my birthday being in the winter, it's like just kind of one of those things that always feels right.
Right. Question number 4, BJ. Mr. BJ, You have a pet peeve that nobody knows about. With it or quit it?
Pet peeve that nobody knows about. I don't know that I do. Because I feel like if I had a pet peeve, I've talked about it before. I know we've talked about pet peeves. So
I'm gonna say one of those that doesn't come up often. It's just like that. I hate that. As soon as that, you're doing that thing.
You know what? Okay, I'll say with it because anything that has to do with. Well, maybe I shouldn't give it away if nobody knows about it. But
oh no, this is what was supposed to happen. Now we know. Tell us.
I was to say I get like stuff with feet weirds me out. If I see like feet in a movie, I saw Home Alone in the past couple weeks, and the scene where Marv takes his shoes off because the tar on the stairs. And then the nail going like, oh, I can't do it. So
it's so funny that you mentioned feet just because I've gotten so tired of seeing feet lately. Because I don't know, just on my Instagram feed, people are posting or on their stories posting pictures of them at the beach this past summer or like summers ago, or they got a selfie in the mirror and they're barefoot. It's just feet everywhere. Feet. It's a pet peeve now too. I'm just tired of seeing feet. You don't need to anymore.
You don't need to find feet. Feet will find you. Apparently,
I did. Apparently so. I'm tired of.
Oh my goodness.
Man. Number 5, Mr. BJ.
Yes, sir.
When you shop and you go to buy some chips,
okay,
you go for a cheddar or a cheese flavored chip the most? With it or quit it? So when you go grab chips, you're going for that cheesy stuff. You're not getting that barbecue. You're not getting that sour cream. Your first instinct, get that cheese. Get them
I'm gonna
cheddar
say
chips.
I'm gonna say quit it, Drew.
Oh!
My first is actually tortilla chips, but then if you look at like other flavors, like I like me a good barbecue chip flavor. I like sour cream and onion. I do like cheddar, but I mean,
Not going
not the first pick, I would say. So,
Damn.
Drew, this could have been a 5 for 5 now that we've gotten to the end, but man,
Dang.
that's why it's tough because you don't know in the moment, and I'm not ever trying to do a 5 for 5 or anything like that.
I know, because even if you were trying to be deceptive, like if the question comes up, it's like there's no way you could say blah blah blah.
Yeah.
Instead of like, okay, I can't not say quit it here. Like,
Yeah.
oh, I can't not say with it. This would be true.
Exactly. Yeah.
Right.
So it worked out pretty well.
Well, that's with it or quit it.
And that's the show, Drew.
It is indeed the episode. I feel like we actually got through that one efficiently. Wow. No, I guess we got the rhythm from you and Trip last week. Y'all were about this time.
Yeah.
Off the college show. Watched that earlier today. Finally got caught up. But yeah, that is the show, ladies and gentlemen. It was good to be on back. I feel like it's been forever now. We appreciate everybody joining us here in for this one. Make sure you follow us wherever you get your podcasts, ladies and gentlemen. Apple, Spotify, all the other platforms, Amazon. I don't think they have Google Podcasts anymore.
No,
so all the other
so.
ones out there, make sure you follow us wherever you get your podcasts. And, of course, rate and review the show. Hit those 5 stars on Apple and Spotify. And you review only on Apple. Drop that review for us. We would appreciate it so much. Helps us get found on these podcast platforms. Those rates and reviews, they do just that. And, guys, make sure you like, comment, subscribe over on the video on YouTube. The likes and the subscriptions. I mean, you subscribe, we're going live over there. The likes help us get noticed over there on YouTube. Some more people like you. And they get to check us out just as well. And if you guys got some comments about the show, you want to interact as well, we'll go back and check these comments. We'll comment too and talk back with you. But like I said, like, comment, subscribe. We appreciate it over on YouTube. And, of course, follow us on those social medias. I should have said that at the beginning of the show. At _lowdown. That's THA_lowdown on all the socials, Threads, YouTube, Twitch, TikTok, Instagram, X, and Facebook. There's no underscore on Twitch, but follow us everywhere at that social media handle, ladies and gentlemen. And we'll be back next week for another episode. We got one more episode to round out the 2023 year, guys. It's crazy. Things are going by fast like that again, but we'll be back one more time this year. And that's going to round out the episode for us. BJ, you got anything else?
Hey, don't forget, time's closing down pretty quick. If you want to enter our giveaway that my big old brain got going for you. If you want to enter to win a prize, you've got to be subscribed and you've got to like the page on X. You've got to be a follower on X. Got to subscribe. Let us know. Still got time, but it's closing pretty quick. You got under 10 days left before that ends, before the giveaway window ends.
Winding down. Get in while you can, ladies and gentlemen. But until next time, we'll be back for another edition of the Lowdown Sports Show. Merry Christmas, you filthy
Merry
animals.
Christmas, guys.